Hey everybody, it's Allie with the SpiegelMom Scraps design team. Super excited to share a fun layout with you guys today. So I had this idea in my head of just like a candy explosion. So I started off by sketching out some pieces of candy on the diagonal of my layout, and I have where I'm going to put my pictures, and then I've also done a rhinestone cut file again. I had a couple people ask me if I could show you guys how I sew on the sequins. So I'm using a bunch of shimmers to paint in my candy pieces, and I'm not going to show you guys all of that because this video was entirely too long, but you get the gist. I've sketched out the candy and I'm just going to go through with my shimmers, and I am going to paint everything, and then we'll get right into how to add the sequins. So I will also post a video on my channel, just a quick tutorial on how to create a rhinestone cut file if you guys don't know how to do that in the Silhouette design software. So I'll add that to my channel as well. But here I'm just going to show you guys how to use the rhinestone cut file. I like to just sketch out what I'm gonna paint and then kind of erase the lines a little bit to make it not so dark, because it's really hard to erase after you've done the watercolors, or in this case I'm using Creameez and Inklings from Shimmerz, which are basically like watercolors. So I just sketch everything out and then make the lines a little bit lighter so that you don't see them. And I'm using a ton of different colors, so I'm going to go ahead and just post all of that in the description of what the different colors I used are. So I've got some gumdrops and some jelly beans and some lollipops, and this whole idea came to me because I'm doing pictures, throwback pictures of my son when he was a year and a half for Halloween. So he's 6 now, and for one of his very first Halloweens, I dressed him up like an Oompa Loompa. So it's super cute pictures, and I've never scrapped them. So I'm super excited to get this in my album. So this was the time when I still had the aspiration to be like that Pinterest mom who handmade all of my kids' Halloween costumes, which that quickly changed, especially when he got old enough to determine what he wanted to be for Halloween. And, I either couldn't make that, or he really wanted those store-bought costumes. So this is kind of the throwback to when times were a little easier and I could slap on some suspenders and call him an Oompa Loompa. So going with the Oompa Loompa theme, we have a candy explosion naturally, and I add lots of splatters, and it's just a fun background, I think, to go along with this picture. Okay, so now all of my painting is finished and dry, and I'm going to add some stamps because this month we're stamping with SpiegelMom Scraps. And I'm using a Lawn Fawn ink pad called Sugar Plum. It's a pretty purple color. And basically this lollipop, where the holes are going to be sequins, but underneath I didn't want it to just be plain white. I wanted to have it kind of contrasting. So I'm using this zigzaggy stamp from Ink Road Stamps, and I'm just creating a little pattern. I'm using the first, second, and third generations of the stamp, so basically straight from the ink, or stamped once onto a scratch sheet of paper, or stamped twice onto the scratch sheet of paper. So it just kind of like creates this ombre effect. So I'm just doing like 4 straight from the ink pad, 4 after I stamp it down once, and so on and so forth. So it creates a nice little pattern, and it'll give the lollipop more depth. So now we're going to add the pictures. Isn't he adorable? He hated putting that makeup on, but he looked so cute. So here I'm just going to add a little bit of those glassine bags that I've torn up. I do this a lot. So just for some depth and kind of to wash out some of that paint around it and make the picture pop off the page a little bit more. So I always add the pictures in before I start doing the sewing, because you can see where my pictures are going. They're going over where the sequins are going to go. And I kind of want the sequins to go over the picture instead. So what I'm going to do is add the picture. And then because it's a rhinestone cut file, the holes are on the back too. So I can just flip it over and poke through, since I know exactly where the holes are going to be. So once I get this all glued down, I can go ahead and do that. And I can just grab my piercing tool and my mat and go ahead and poke all of those little holes. But if you don't want your sequins to go over your picture, you don't have to add the picture until after you've sewn on the sequins. And so here you can see the holes on the back are where I'm going to go ahead and just pierce through. But I want to make sure that my pictures are really on there so they're not going anywhere. So you can see that my piercing mat has been used quite often. And so I just go through and poke all those little holes out so they are ready to be sewn through. And that way I can see them even on my picture and I know where to sew on the sequins. So the sequin mix that I am using for this project, they are called Rainbow Bright, and they're just perfect. And I painted all of my candies to kind of go along with this sequin mix. And I also want to make kind of a pattern with my sequins. So you can see I've kind of got them all lined up and separated out. And so I'm going to just go through and kind of make like segments, like those lollipops. When you see them, they kind of look like they have segments. So I do a little red segment, then a yellow segment, and so on and so forth. But I'm just going to show you a couple of times how I sew these on. And I apologize. I did not realize how difficult it was going to be to make it visible on the camera. So it's kind of tough to see, but I just pick a starting point, any starting point, and I pull my thread through. Go ahead and put the sequin down where I want it. And then I pick a different hole that I haven't gone through and string it back through to the other side. And then I go through the next space that I want to sequin, add my sequin on, and then I go back through the previous sequin. So I'm going to go right back through the hole and kind of anchor that one down. So I continue this process. I just pick the next hole to go through, put my sequin on, and then go back through the last sequin, if that makes sense. If you get super good at this, it can go really quickly, and you can start kind of like anticipating when to put the sequin on faster and get it through there and through the last hole quicker. But really, I kind of like the time-consuming process of it. It's fun for me, and it's relaxing and enjoyable. And like I said in my last video where I was sewing sequins, I like to watch TV while I do it. So it's just a fun little process for me. And it's not challenging, it's just tedious. So for those of you who were wondering how this is done, I really hope this video clarifies that. I know it's kind of hard to see exactly what I'm doing, and especially with moving the layout so much to get underneath it, it was hard to keep it on camera. But really, you guys, if you have any questions, like, just let me know and I will answer them. And if you need me to make another more clear video, I can try to do that as well. Okay, so you can see kind of here what I'm doing with the segments. I've moved on to yellow, and then I just keep repeating the pattern. And you guys, I used literally the entire package of Rainbow Bright sequins, except for the little orange flowers. I was going to try to find a way to work those into the layout, but I just didn't. They just didn't seem to mesh well. But like, I have no more Rainbow Bright sequins, and I'm a little bit sad about that. But I'm not, because I love the way this turned out. It looks so cool, and I actually had to borrow some other sequins from other packages. So you can see all the sequins are sewn on, and now I'm just going to add a couple embellishments, because really it doesn't need much at all. These are little stickers from the Mombi sticker packs. They're for planning, but I use them on my layouts, and I love them. I'm addicted to them right now. They have all these little word sayings and little half circles and pretty flowers, and I'm addicted to them. But, you know, I have like one that says live it up and one that says good times, and it's lots of fun colors, and they're just awesome. So you can see I used the diamond sequins for the lollipop stick, and then I just stitched around that with twine in the same way that I stitched the sequins on. So now I'm going to add my title, and I really didn't want to distract much from the rest of the layout, so I'm just going to add in white thickers, and I'm just going to make it say Oompa Loompa in that corner. And then at the bottom, I'm going to add Happy Halloween and some journaling about his first Halloween. And that's it. It's finished. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a great day.